Hopper was climbing a mountain when he noticed a strange cave in the distance. He was curious and went to the entrance of the cave and found a man standing with a kerosene lamp. He didn't move a muscle, but when Hopper greeted him, he got no response. So Hopper went into the cave to find out what was going on, but he didn't realize there was a mysterious movement in the air. He just felt that there was a mysterious force in front of him that was preventing him from moving forward, but he wasn't afraid. He took a step and kept going. But as Hopper got closer, he realized that the man wasn't standing still. Instead, he was moving forward at a very slow pace. As Hopper moved forward, the faster the mystery man moved. This strange phenomenon really scared Hopper. Just when Hopper was puzzled, he turned his head and saw the entrance of the cave flickering. Then there was a sudden cry for help from inside the cave. Hopper was so scared that he wanted to leave, but when he got to the entrance of the cave, he realized that it was nighttime. Only a few minutes had passed since he entered the cave. How could such a strange phenomenon occur? Hopper rushed down the mountain in fear. By the time he got to his truck, he found it in a state of disrepair and covered in vines. He tried to drive away, but all the parts of the truck had been damaged. Hopper got out of the truck and found his student's SUV parked next to it. It was also covered in vines and badly damaged. Hopper realizes the gravity of the situation. He thinks it has something to do with the cave. So Hopper ventured back into the cave to find out what was going on, to keep from getting lost in the cave. Every few steps he took, he threw a glow stick on the ground, but when he got to the area of fluctuating air, the glow sticks he threw suddenly floated in the air, and when Hopper tried to retrieve it, it began to move forward like the mysterious man in the daytime, until a few seconds later, the glow stick fell back to the ground, and the outside of the cave flickered again. In order to find his disappeared student and find out the secret of the cave, Hopper continued on, without hesitation. Half an hour ago, Hopper's students came to visit him. They found Hopper's car at the foot of the mountain. They shouted, but they didn't see him. They found an old rope left in the back of Hopper's truck, so they followed the rope to an open cave. This cave was distinctly different from the one Hopper had entered. When they got deeper, they realized the rope had broken off at a cliff. They think this might be the rope Hopper used to climb down the cliff. Hopper must still be trapped down there. They talked it over. They decided to climb down the cliff to save Hopper. They told the youngest, Furby, to keep an eye on the rope. The others climbed down the cliff with the new rope they brought with them. But halfway down, they also sense a mysterious force in the air that's preventing them from getting in. The mysterious wave was exactly the same as Hopper's, but in order to save Hopper, they didn't care about it. When the four of them reached the ground, they found a number of narrow paths. They decided to split up. If they hit a dead end or find Hopper, they'd go back the way they came. But the girls hadn't gone far when they heard a strange noise. The darkness of the cave was already frightening. The noise disrupted their plans. Kara decided to go home immediately, but when she climbed up the rope, it suddenly snapped. Kara fell back to the ground and sprained her right foot. Taylor thought Furby was playing a prank. He got on his walkie-talkie and yelled at Furby, but there was no response to any of their calls. While they were discussing how to get back to the cave, Furby's voice finally came over the walkie-talkie. He called out for help and claimed he was in another cave, though they feared it was another prank. But Furby was the only one to get them out of the cave. They decided to check out the hole Furby was talking about. It's not long before they find the hole, but the light outside the hole kept flickering. It seemed like the sun was rising and setting very quickly. Jackie climbed up the rock and found a broken rope hanging down from the cave. As she peered down, she found Furby had appeared below and not breathing. They were overwhelmed by the sight. Taylor picked up the rope. He thought someone must have broken the rope outside the cave to kill Furby. But who would hurt them in this unfamiliar place? That's when Taylor found the recorder Furby was holding. They turned on the video and learned something even more shocking. Furby accidentally found another cave and found a book about Hopper in the mouth of the cave. The book stated that Hopper's family had been searching for the Fountain of Youth. It has the power to bring people back from the dead, but almost all of Hopper's family members disappeared while searching for it. Some were even killed by savages while searching, and not long ago, Hopper's family also disappeared in the mountains. So Hopper thought that the Fountain of Youth must be in this mysterious cave. Seeing this, they were incredulous. But the next video sent a wave of fear through the crowd. Furby says he's been waiting for his 4 companions for 9 days, but only half an hour had passed since they entered the cave. Since Furby was only 7 years old, he didn't know how to drive, so he waited for them at the bottom of the mountain for 3 months. And finally, when he ran out of food, he had to climb into the cave to find them. As he was about to climb down, there was a quick flash of light, then the rope snapped. He fell to the ground and lost consciousness. Although it's hard to believe, but after watching the video, they can only accept it. They decided to get out of there immediately. So Jackie, the only rock climber on the team, became their only hope. But when Jackie climbed out of the cave, she found that what used to be a green forest had become a barren place. Even the landforms were not the same as before. Everything seems to have changed over thousands of years. She used her phone to call for help, but she couldn't get a signal anywhere. And not far away, a devastating sandstorm is heading her way. There's even a triangular building suspended in the sky. As the storm approaches, Jackie had to rush back to the cave to tell her what she'd seen. But they didn't believe what she was saying, because according to Jackie, she stayed on the ground for at least 10 minutes, and they said she was back in the cave a second after she left. Jackie had to give them her camera. They finally believed what Jackie was saying, so the time inside the cave doesn't match the time outside, which means the broken ropes aren't man-made. They're just old and broken because too much time has passed. And the change in light at the entrance to the cave is the sign of sunrise and sunset. Just when the crowd was at a loss for words, Taylor suddenly thought of something strange. Furby didn't break the radio when he fell, but the radio they picked up was already damaged. Maybe there's another reason for Furby's death. They turned on Furby's recorder again. Furby didn't die immediately after the fall, but a mystery man suddenly appeared a few minutes later. He hit Furby with a rock and killed him. They were terrified. If there's still a killer in the cave, they need to leave now. Jackie had to climb out of the cave again, but by this time, thousands of years had passed outside. There may not be any humans left in the world. While she was hesitating, a metal rod with a blue light suddenly fell down and stuck on the ground. Then it transformed into a ladder, and they all watched in amazement. Jackie was afraid to make a move. Taylor told Jackie to climb up the ladder, but before Jackie could climb up the ladder, a figure suddenly appeared above her. Jackie had no way out. She had to go back to the bottom of the cave. Then the figure came to the ground. It's a 6-meter tall masked man with a high-tech body. They are afraid of this man who is not human. As it was about to approach, behind it, a savage appeared and attacked it. But he has the advantage of a strong body and high technology. The savage was quickly knocked to the ground. He used a glowing iron ring to hold him to the ground. After taking care of the savage, the masked man looked at Taylor again. They could only run frantically behind them. In the depths of the tunnel, they found a chamber full of torches, and on the floor lay 2 warm bodies. It seems they died less than a few minutes ago. But Kara, who had seen Hopper's family photo, quickly recognized them as Hopper's parents. While they were puzzled, they suddenly notice a couple of disheveled savages. Taylor realizes that they must be the ones who killed Hopper's parents. Seeing that they've been discovered, Taylor sends the others on the run. He stayed behind to stall the savages, but they were outnumbered. Within a few rounds, Taylor was knocked to the ground. As the rocks came down again and again, Taylor lost his life. When they heard the screams, they stopped. Jackie risked discovery by returning to the chamber, but as she grieved over Taylor's death, the masked man also came to the chamber. But strangely, the masked man didn't attack Jackie. Instead, he went to a small pool of water. He took the water from the pool and was ready to leave. When he heard Jackie's cries, he turned around and threw Jackie away, and threw Taylor's body into the pool. Jackie went to stop him in pain, but the masked man signaled her to take it easy, and then the wildlings returned. He used his torch to force them out of the pool. The masked man steps out of the pool and prepares to fight the savages. Just as the battle was about to begin, Taylor in the pool miraculously came back to life. Perhaps this pool is the fountain of youth the Hoppers have been searching for. At that moment, the masked man's helmet was removed. Jackie hurriedly picked up the weapon and handed it to him. With the help of the weapon, he quickly took control of the savage. Then he fell to the ground, gasping for air. Taylor realizes he must rely on his helmet to breathe, but by now, the helmet was damaged, and he might not have long to live. Before he died, he turned on the projector. It turns out that 500 years after Taylor's disappearance, because of environmental pollution on Earth, the oxygen has dropped drastically. In order to reproduce, mankind built a triangular flying machine. It can take humans to Mars at the speed of light for migration. It's been 800 million years since the launch of the migration program. The 4 Taylors are clearly out of touch with the current human race. Even if they return to the surface, they won't be able to survive. While they were worried about their lives, Taylor found Hopper's backpack not far away. The reason they entered the cave was to find Hopper, Now they can continue to look for Hopper. Maybe if they find him, they'll figure out what to do. He found a pistol on one of the cowboys' bodies, then walked alone deeper into the cave to find Hopper. But at a fork in the road, Taylor found a glow stick that Harper had thrown away earlier. So he followed the glow sticks, but at the end of the tunnel, all he saw was a field of dead savages and a couple of wounded. Taylor ignored them and kept searching. He soon found the badly injured Hopper around a corner, but he doesn't respond to Taylor's calls. He just stares ahead. Taylor then notices a blue barrier separating them. Inside the barrier, a girl is being chased by a savage. Hopper says the girl is the sister he's been searching for. Inside the barrier, time is flowing much slower than their current speed, so the image inside the barrier appears to be static. Besides the sister and the savage, there's an army of tens of thousands fighting the savages. Although hundreds of millions of years have passed, the battle inside the barrier seems to have just begun. Taylor wasn't fooled by the images. He tells Hopper that the Fountain of Youth has been found. It should help Hopper's body to recover quickly, but Hopper can't move because of his injuries. Taylor had to go back and find help, but as they threw Furby's body into the pool, the injured savages were being revived by it. In the face of danger, Hopper could only push them back with his pistol. In the face of countless wildlings, they can only escape to the hole and open the masked man's high-tech ladder. Before the savages arrived, they climbed up the ladder, but Jackie noticed that the hole had been blocked by liquid. But the savages have already arrived. Jackie can only reach into the unknown liquid. Then an unidentified creature grabbed her hand and pulled her in. A savage grabbed for the ladder. The ladder disappeared when the switch was accidentally hit. Unsupported, they fell in an instant, but to Jackie inside the liquid, it looked like they were suspended in time. Then 3 mechanical vines gradually extended out from the liquid and tied them up securely when they fell. Then 2 more vines appeared, heading towards Hopper and Furby. While the wildlings were puzzled, Jackie came out of the liquid in a full gear and told everyone to hold on to the vines. Then the vines pulled everyone into the liquid, leaving the wildlings in a mess. By the time they get out of the liquid, they're in a cabin. Furby asked them where they were, and through the cabin, they can see that they've left the Earth. They're in the middle of the universe, and the mysterious force that saved them is the new humans who have evolved over hundreds of millions of years. They're headed to a new colony, Mars, and start a new life.